70's down to 6:48. Dave White is here from New York City. Grant, good morning.
Good morning.
We always get you here to talk about some issues that involve Lake Ontario or St. Lawrence River. Memorial Day weekend coming up. Many people will get on the boat and maybe travel over to Canada. And there are tips that you have to, well, tips that you can give, but there are some laws you have to obey.
Yes, absolutely. And we always like to remind folks this time of year to be thinking about if they're going to be crossing the border by boat, by RV, by car, because gas prices, I'm sure, are going to be coming down. You know.
Oh, yeah.
We're going there. We're going to go there.
You know. That, okay?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about the cost for the boat fill up this time of year. But yeah, as folks start to think about going back and forth across the border, we always every year put out a new cross-border tip brochure to talk about what's the latest information people need to have to make sure that they get across quickly, safely.
It changed since last year.
It changes every year.
Are there more regulations this year?
They're becoming more focused. They're changing things. They're really focusing this year on really promoting a new program called the Nexus program, which for those people that are going back and forth frequently, which up in this part of the world you have a lot of folks that might go back and forth for dinner, shopping, boating, crossing the border. So there's a program they're really pushing and talking about, which is the Nexus program, which is a frequent traveler. You can go and apply for a Nexus pass, if you will. If you're doing land crossing, they actually have special, almost like easy pass lanes.
Right.
And if you're crossing by boat, if everyone has it in the boat, all you have to do is call in. So if you have either a Nexus or an I-68, and everybody on board has to have it, you can call a phone number and say, we're coming over, this is, et cetera, and 90% of the time they'll pass you.
Like a family that already has the passes.
Okay, but in reality, people are not going to have that. So
many folks won't. So the next thing you do is there's also a list on the brochure of all of the video phones, because again, if you're coming into the United States, you then go to a video phone and check in. The thing we always remind people is the only person that can go check in is, the captain of the boat.
Okay.
Only one person can get out, and I love the story. There was a gentleman, he went up to a video phone up on the river, and the customs agent's on the other end of the phone, and the customs agent said, are you the only person that has touched U.S. soil? And the captain goes, oh, yes, everybody else is on the boat. And the guy goes, well, could you turn around and tell them to get off the dock back into the boat? Because he could see their boat.
It's a video phone, folks.
It's a video phone. They can see you as well as be talking to you. So, yeah, it just, think about some common sense things. If you're traveling by boat, think about what you have on board. If you wouldn't take it over in a car, don't take it in a boat. I always remind people, if you have knives on board, if you're a diver, if you have a flare gun on board, don't be trying to take it back and forth across the border. It's a weapon.
Yeah,
so be thinking about, what would you have in your car?
Think you need an emergency doesn't go across the border.
Doesn't go across the border. So you need to be thinking about those kind of things. So, and we always warn people, the information that's out there, this is trying to give folks a real feeling. It links you to information on duty. What you're going to have to pay for, what you can bring back and forth across the border.
So safety things of like a flare gun, they want you to be safe, but if you go international and you go over to Canada, you can't have that.
That's right.
So then you got to be unsafe.
Well, no, because you need flares. You don't need a flare gun.
Okay.
Oh,
so you got to have the flares for safety purposes, but you don't need a lot of folks will have them because it's an enhanced, especially if you're going back and forth across the lake. So if someone's going from, they're going from, the Black River area, they're going out to Sackets, Henderson, and they're going across the border. Because they're going across the lake, they might have one on board, especially if you're a charter captain or something like that. All you need is a flare in that case, and that's legal to have. It's a flare gun that you have to be concerned about and those kind of things.
Now, if they can't get their hands on this pamphlet, is there another way to find out this information?
They can call Customs Border Patrol. I suggest people go online. This is updated as things change. They can go on our website and print it, download it. They can take a look at it. It gives them all the phone numbers for all the border crossings. They can go here, get the phone number, call the bridges that they're going to be headed to. So if they're getting up going, hey, let's go to Canada today, you can make a phone call to say, what's the delay at the bridge I'm going to go across? So it's also, it's a 2-hour delay. You can build that into your schedule. So really trying to get information out there to folks to say, hey, it's an international border. Have fun. Go back and forth. Enjoy it. Do it safely.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules. The other thing I always remind folks is, many of the rules we have right now, they were in effect before 9/11, but they weren't enforced.
Right. They're around the books.
The other key I always want to mention to folks is if you're taking someone else's child with you, you got a family of 4, they're taking a friend with them, have all the documentation as to who that 5th kid in the car. Letter from mom and dad, identification of the kid, because you're going to really get held up at that point going, oh, wait a minute, you have someone else's child. Whole other set of issues come into play. So think ahead, plan ahead, and have a great time.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Dave White, New York City. Grant, thank you very much for coming in. Phone number on the screen. You can get more information on what we're talking about here, and you could probably get a pamphlet sent to you in the mail. They love to do that. We're back here in a couple of moments.